I kind of wanted to kick off the Bad Batch thing. Can I kick it off?
I guess so. Go
So
ahead.
this is a thing that I've noticed, but I definitely saw someone on Twitter talking about it more too. I don't have necessarily any theories, but have you noticed that Hemlock has one glove on one hand, and he's often caressing it?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the gloved hand. He's often almost self-soothing himself. Right?
I thought about it a little
Yeah.
bit on. I've been kind of going through Bad Batch with the kids.
Uh-huh.
We're behind a lot.
Yeah,
So we're doing season 2, and the first time he showed up, we just watched that recently, and he does that.
Yeah.
And I was like, wonder why he's rubbing his hand.
What do you think that is? Is that just a nervous tick that he has?
I'll tell you what it is, Eric. Zillow Beast hand.
He has a Zillow Beast hand?
Yeah.
Now is it the Zillow Beast's face?
No.
He takes that
no,
off?
No, it's not
Okay.
that. It's just it's got some Zillow Beast DNA in
What's-
his hand.
So
So he's going to be able to grab lightsabers and stuff, you know?
okay.
That'd be sweet.
In the Bad Batch, he'll grab lightsabers.
What?
I guess
He could do the, Darth Vader did that thing.
I know he
you
did that thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. He could just, and it's really strong. He can choke you.
Okay.
I
So
don't
that's
know.
what it is.
What do you think? Robot hand? What do you think? Like
I was
maybe
thinking robot
maybe
hand.
he
because
misses. It doesn't feel the same. Like
could it
the
just
Phantom,
be cloned?
a cloned hand.
I don't know. He does clone stuff.
Uh,
And maybe you lose a hand, and what do you do? That we can clone it. It's but I'm missing that hand. It's we'll just take this hand, reverse it, clone it.
yeah, but then your thumb's backwards and stuff.
That might be kind of cool. I would like thumbs on both.
I mean,
sides.
honestly, yeah.
General Grievous has that because
Yeah.
he has the 3-fingered hands when it splits.
Yeah, he does. No, I would. I mean, thumbs on both hands,
only
both
the-
sides of your hand would be great.
It's really the only thing from Grievous I want.
And you would really have hold of stuff, Like if you were holding a stick,
Hell yeah, dude.
right? Imagine
I'd never
having
drop that
a
stick.
thumb crossing over here too.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You never drop that stick.
Well, whenever you do self defense and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you're always taught to the way to roll is the thumb is usually one of the weaker
Yeah.
things. So you're using that for it. But if you have it on both sides and there's two of them, oh man, you're screwed.
yeah.
So that's what it is. We
So
just
that-
can't see it, but he's a 6-fingered man. And Diego Montoya is
We
gonna be
can
mad.
see it.
Damn.
It fits like a glove.
Maybe one splits.
Okay. Well,
But no, I don't know. I don't know if chat has any. Well,
Nexus says Dino DNA.
see,
It's cloning.
I hope. So having that Zillow show up last time, I'm
Yeah.
really hoping something more comes from that.
Yeah.
Of it because they brought him back. There's stuff happening.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just hey, there is cloning going on. But I want to see what they do with it. Where's his, hard shell armor stuff? Where's that going? What's he putting it in?
I don't know.
Besides Hemlock's hand.
Yeah. I mean, it could just be I don't know. It could be a lot of things. You could be creating Sith War Beasts.
Oh, that would be cool. Like the old, what do they call it? The Teuton. Damn it. There's a T word.
Yeah.
I remember them from
Yeah,
SWTOR,
but I want you to
KOTOR
attempt
thing.
to finish it.
You don't remember either. you're kicking me. Tukuna? I don't know what they call it. I can't remember.
Takuna.
That's not it.
That's not it.
That's not it at all.
I don't remember what it is either, but that was a Sith War Beast.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Well, I think that I've bought some time, and we might have some more
Some questions and stuff.
questions.
So we are going to take questions
Yeah.
from people here over on from Gonk here
For Bad
and show us some
Batch.
stuff. Probably some things maybe from Twitch and or YouTube. So you should be able to see a question section in either spot. You can submit stuff that way. So let's see what we have. Mr. Awesome. Did you guys notice that when Hunter and Wrecker first land on the tentacle monster planet, Wrecker states that it smells like a rancid Jotaz, which was an enemy from Jedi Fallen Order.
I didn't at the time, but it was something that came up later that I was like, oh, that is a Jotaz. Okay. Yeah.
No, I did not pick up what he said, so I missed that. But that's really cool. That's not a creature I think that we've seen anywhere else, is it?
I don't believe so.
Maybe comics, but we haven't gotten into comics. So
That's true.
Skywalker's Academy has a question saying, "Do you think that Pabu becomes Scarif?" It is very watery.
Yeah, tropical. Yeah, sure.
I don't think the island's big enough for the main island area that they have. But
Well,
I
no,
don't know
it'd
what
have
the
to be-
rest of the world
Yeah.
looks like. But they find it from the Bad Batch, and then what the Empire does,
Yeah.
they turn it into what they want.
Sure.
It's remote, so
Okay.
maybe you can hide the construction of things there.
So
or...
do you think that they come in, they occupy, and they're like, you know what? You know what sucks? The name Pabu. Let's change it. What? Scarif. What'd you say? Scarif? That's it.
Bless you. Maybe. I mean, there's been sillier things changing their names.
Yeah, I don't know the history of Scarif in terms because it has an energy shield.
It does have an energy shield that they built around it. So
I don't know how long it takes or how the history of it is.
I'll tell you what, it probably takes less time to make that than it does a Death Star.
More of that later.
So, interesting idea, but I don't know. I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Is my thought.
You're going to shoot down their question like that?
I am, Skywalker
I'm not even going to say maybe.
Nope.
All right. No. Thank you for that.
Let's see. Fabuccino says, since Palpatine can use the Force in Rise of Skywalker, do you think the M count transfer will be successful?
I do. Yes. At some point, it's gotta. I mean, successful is a loose term. Like, I think it works, but when it comes to cloning and Force users, they don't mix super well. So I think it works, but also your clone body's all like up on puppet string.
Been a while since I've seen it, but I'm quite sure Snoke used the Force, right?
Oh yeah, he shoots down at the floor and the lightning reflects off of it and hits Rey.
Like,
cool moment.
He has the Force, so I'm gonna say it works.
Oh yeah, he's
somehow.
super strong.
Yeah,
like I legitimately feel
Didn't he
that.
pull her towards him?
Oh yeah,
like there's
yeah.
So I'm gonna say yes, that it is successful. It's just a matter of I think what they're looking at is the idea, and in Legends now, Unleashed. Like, there's stuff that kind of worked with that, where like the cloning of Force users, like it isn't 100% the same, and it changes and does stuff. And I think Palpatine's trying to like fix those little like kinks in the system.
That goes back to Timothy Zahn, heir of the Empire. Jorah Kabath and Luke are both kind of mad clones.
Yeah. So there's that issue that I think he needs to fix so that he can like more accurately make himself. But I figure there's some kind of success they have, but I think it's going to be tiers of success. But
how do you feel about their use of the phrase M count? Do you think that they're just trying to avoid
they don't want to say midichlorians?
That way people aren't like, midichlorian, what's that? And they go to Google and they see all of the just hate rhetoric that George Lucas got from the prequel era that forced him to retire because it was so bad.
No, I'm pretty sure they do that with like white blood cells and stuff, don't they? Like they have different like terminologies in the medical field for like, rather than saying like, here's the full name, we're going to call it your whatever count and stuff like that.
It's just, to me, it's interesting to not use a word that would effectively mean the same thing that's been in a movie that would tie that in, you know?
Sure.
But I just wonder if they're trying to get rid of a negative connotation when it comes to saying midichlorian versus just M count.
I think it's more of a medical connection.
Yeah?
I think. Because like there's things that are shortened in the medical field. Hell, doctors writing prescriptions and all their names and everything, like they shorten that stuff out because they got to do it all the time.
I can't tell.
And it makes it faster.
You can't read what they say.
I know, but that's why. Because like it's not like, well, I'm buying a house, so I need to make sure this looks good. It's like I'm tired of having to write my name all day, and they do it real short. But
I don't think doctors write any more than I do, and I don't write like that.
Yeah, but do you write your name all the time?
Yeah.
Like all the time?
Yeah, I just like my name.
No,
yeah, I put hearts around it.
How many times you wrote your name today?
I love myself.
Just hearts
I
everywhere.
would have done it once, but we didn't sign that form.
So, no, I think it's just a medical thing.
Okay.
If I had Melanie here, I'd use her to push my idea as well.
Well, I'm going to just ignore her medical experience and just go on my conspiracy theory.
She worked in the ER. You got to be quick, get stuff done. People dying.
Yep.
You know?
Well,
it's tricky.
It's true.
Let's go to the next question.
Let's do it.
Let's see. We have what's my name is Matt say here? Do you think the bodies of dead Jedi could be on Tantis? That could explain why the Inquisitors have a bunch of frozen Jedi corpses, possibly for experimentation.
From the Obi-Wan show.
We did
saw
see
Master Sube.
Yeah, and a lot of other
My bad.
Yeah. A lot of other Jedi in there as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we also
why wouldn't that happen? I mean,
in
of course.
Rebels we saw Master what was it, Luminara? Right? Her body was still being held.
Sure.
So it seems that there's some reason to keep a hold of these Jedi bodies, right? Yeah. That one was more to attract people, like other Jedi, for like as a trap.
I mean,
but
they have to have midichlorians to transfer to the M count, right? I don't know if they just have midichlorians anywhere.
What if M count doesn't stand for midichlorians?
What would it stand for? Manon?
Master.
Master
I don't
count?
know.
It has to be
the
in
master count.
No, it's ridiculous if it's anything but midichlorian.
Sure.
Which is why I posed the question at all.
But no, I mean, it would be interesting to see that, like, what they're really working on. Those are all pods that are holding Jedi or other resources that they use, maybe.
Yeah.
But inside is the actual, like, related to Palpatine, maybe. The Project Necromancer's, like, main thing. Because they didn't open all those other pods. They just opened that middle one.
Yeah. What would be we get in there, we open those pods, what would be the most disappointing thing in that pod for you?
Disappointing thing? Damn, what would be disappointing? They were trying to clone Wookiees and they've made Ewoks. I don't know. I don't know what would be a disappointing thing. I know some people, but I wouldn't. But like, I know some people would be like, if like it's Jar Jar.
What was the name
the Darth
of,
Jar Jar thing, and he's just cloned throughout all that.
What was the name of the guy? Clovis. What was I'm bringing back Clovis. He was useful in the banking thing. I was like, wait, bring back Clovis. Just to bother Vader.
I guess, yeah, that would be something like not connected at all to any of that. It was like, why the heck do you have these
That'd be
things? But I don't really have any good, like, this is a real disappointment.
Yeah.
Because most things I'm thinking of are all like, that'd be cool. They're all filled with Imbo, you know? Like, that'd be
cool,
sweet.
yeah.
I'm not disappointed at
I
all.
can't even think of anything I'd be disappointed by. They're all a bunch of like, remember Constantine and Rebels? I was always just screwing up.
Yeah, it's all
It's a
him.
bunch of Constantines.
But like, why would you do that?
I don't know.
Like, that's why, like, with mine, I'm like, well, the background of how we got Ewoks, they were trying to clone Wookiees and they couldn't, so they just made a bunch of Ewoks and they just like, you know what, screw it, throw them all on this random moon.
Yep.
And then that's why they made the Death Star over there too, because that's just one of their moons they have.
My dog Obi, whenever my wife gets home and she gets in the shower, she puts on Star Wars for him. It's become like a routine every day because he loves to bark at aliens, but he loves Ewoks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably any of the furry aliens.
Well, it's because he
loves
loves animals and he loves kids.
What do you think of Wampas or Tauntauns even?
Anything he'll bark at.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's really the one time you actually hear him bark.
Tauntauns are horse-like, right?
Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah. But no, I mean, if anything, just has the feeling of an animal. I mean, he'll bark at CG animals. He'll bark at cartoon animals.
Okay.
He'll bark at fake animals.
He'll bark at Spider-Man crawling around.
Yeah, he does do that. Spider-Man's fine, but when Spider-Man like gets down, he's like, "Wow, what's he doing?" He'll freak out.
He's not walking like a human.
Yeah.
Clone 1209 says, "How long do you think Hemlock has been working for Palpatine?"
I don't know. I mean, he doesn't seem like. I would assume that it's been. Do you think that it's been since the Empire formed, or do you think it's before?
I would.
The more you dig into Palpatine, the more you realize, like, oh, he's been planning this stuff for a while.
I was gonna say before you said that, like, I would say recently.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah.
Some different thoughts in my head now make me think more that it could have been happening during the Clone Wars.
Sure.
But it has to be, because, like, how far are we from the Clone Wars now with the Bad Batch? Like, Bad Batch hasn't gone too far. And he must have been working before that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like the base on Tantis is super new. I think he's been there for a bit doing research, and maybe other places too, because we had that old base that they went to in episode 2, and that was Hemlock's base, right?
Yeah.
So for how long? I don't know. I need to figure out how old Hemlock is.
Well, I
mean,
want to
is he
say
a clone?
like I want to. That's what I say. I was going to say like, well, maybe he's in his 30s. I would say, or he's way older, and the original Hemlock is his hand, and he's taking
fighting
over the rest.
He's
of
trying
it.
to stop it from
like
taking
idle
over.
hand.
Maybe that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
The real question is, how much longer will he serve him for? Will Hemlock make it out of the Bad Batch and continue on to materials that are surrounding Project Necromancer?
I want to say no.
Yeah.
But that's only because I've never seen him anywhere else.
Yeah.
You know?
He's a very unique character. I love how soft-spoken he is. He's like the only non-British Imperial.
But he's still kind of threatening, right?
But he's extremely
It's like
threatening.
Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
You know, like he can just talk so softly and still be so threatening.
He can command an entire classroom of wizards by speaking like this. Yeah, definitely.
All right. How about Sethi 50?
Okay.
Do you think Crosshair knows that Tech died, or do you think he'll find out in the next episode?
Yeah, I don't think he knows yet.
I don't believe so. I was thinking about that because I was
know.
talking to Melanie, maybe
Mm-hmm.
I forget, and something about that came up, and I'm like, I don't think he knows. I don't know when he would have found out exactly. I don't remember last season him learning anything about it.
Not that I can recall. I mean, unless we're missing something.
Yeah, and there's been lots of conversations, I imagine, with Crosshair and Omega over
Mm-hmm.
the however many hundreds of days that they were in the facility.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna say no, and that
Sure.
might be a thing that we confront in the next episode. A mixture of that and
Yeah.
also, Hunter and Wrecker are gonna have to like confront the things of Crosshair. But
Yeah.
I also think the last time that they really saw each other, they were willing to take him with them.
Yep.
And then he stayed, and he hasn't chased after him and tried to kill him more since then,
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, so far, Crosshair has been very lonely, and when it comes to a lot of his trauma and the way he processes things. And I imagine that he's going to try to keep doing that by himself, but I hope that it's his brothers see that and like try to help him. So hopefully that's what happens.
yeah. And they have Omega, who also, like he called trying to warn when he found out Omega was a big part of it, right?
Yeah.
And then Omega and him worked together to get out of there, and Omega hasn't given up on him.
Yeah.
And they care about Omega, you
Sure.
know? They were looking across the galaxy 5 times to find
Yeah.
her. So I think that we'll get him brought back into the team, and there'll maybe some stuff with that. But I wonder and want to see how he will deal with the Tech thing. Like,
Yeah.
will he? I imagine he'll care, but at one point I feel like he was willing to kill them. You know, so I don't know. It'll be an interesting.
It will be.
I don't know, emotion or mood from him that I'm curious to see what he does.
Yeah. Me too.
But I think D. Bradley Baker will do great with it.
He does great with everything. He's so good. We're so lucky to have him.
Yes, we are.
You know, it's we'll talk about this later too, but it's one of those things where it's like if you don't get D. Bradley Baker, it just means you're getting Tamara Morrison. And I love Tamara Morrison. But anytime I don't get Tamara Morrison, I'm not necessarily disappointed because I get D. Bradley Baker.
Yeah.
It's like, Matt Lanner and Hayden. It's like,
They're both great.
Do I prefer one? Sure, but one's been with me a lot longer. Mm-hmm. I love them both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gordo says, if you bet on someone dying and surviving, who do you bet on? So if you pick one that you think will survive and one you think that will die out of the series of Bad Batch.
Yeah. I mean, I can't bet on any clone other than Rex making it.
Sure. I will bet on Nala Se dying.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that will happen.
Yeah. What about like Sid? Sid is the Trandoshan Cantina owner that betrayed us. That we still haven't addressed that either. I can see her not making it.
Don't even want to see her again.
You don't want to see her.
No.
No revenge.
No revenge.
Okay.
Not the Bad Batch way, I don't think.
It's-
And she's not important enough to take revenge on.
Yeah.
Screw her.
Okay.
She burned our bridges and we can't cross them
Okay.
or something.
So in the screw, marry, kill with Sid,
Just screw her.
screw her. Okay. I think Omega makes it out.
I was going to say Omega too.
Yeah.
Just because like they brought her in and I feel like there's more story to tell with her.
And there's a large amount of places that she could pop up again at an older age, especially because she's not an advanced age clone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, her and Boba both can like survive and be
Just get Daniel
Much
Logan
later.
to come in and play her.
well.
It's a clone.
Yeah, but I think there's a difference that we might need to use
so?
use someone else.
I think that
I don't know
guy's-
who.
that kid, that man is ready at the phone for them to pick up.
Hey, we need.
Hey, you want to be in
Omega.
Star Wars? Yeah, okay. And he comes in like dressed like Boba, and they're like, no.
Oh, sorry. Someone should have told you.
Just give him a bow and arrow. He's like, okay, cool.
But I think like there's a lot of potential with her character, and there's all the questions that we have of like why her M count transfer, like worked or whatnot, right?
It is weird why that happens.
Why hers out of all the other clones?
Yeah.
Like what all is different about her? And we talked before about Omega and why her, like in the first season we got feelings of like her kind of picking up like what Tech can do really easily and kind of what Hunter feels and being a really good shot having never really shot before. which it's like a Crosshair thing. So like
she seems to be like intuitive with a lot of the skills they had.
yeah, and like what is the reason for that? And I think there's story that we want to get to with that. And I don't know if that will only be visited in Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm looking forward to an idea of like some more like how we've had Mandalorian and Ahsoka and all that. Like we had Kenobi and we've had Andor, but like I'd like to see a little bit more kind of in that middle ground, of like between episodes 3 and 4 of like live action stories that we get like that.
Okay.
Bringing like, I'd love to bring Glover back in and have him do some Lando stuff or,
that would be cool.
Just whatever it is. And like we could have him, maybe not even like a show for him, but like you have a series going on and he shows up in one of them, just like in Rebels, having Lando show up in, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, use that.
We generally try to just stay away from news as much as possible. I mean, stuff gets to us, but I haven't heard anything about the Lando series that was announced long, long, long ago, along with Rangers of the New Republic. And
Celebration didn't talk about it at all or anything, A lot of it's really been focused, I think, on like after episode 6 time frame, and then kind of pushing forward into the New Order movie.
Sure.
The only thing that's further back is the one that's way back.
Yeah, you're right.
You ain't getting Lando in there.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'd like to see some more in between episodes 3 and 6, but also, I don't know.
Okay.
Between 6 and 7 would be good too. But we've gotten a good bit of that.
Yeah.
And they've connected the tissue, right?
Yeah.
Like we've had stuff with Grogu being experimented on and doing M-count transfers and stuff with them and whatnot, and then Project Necromancy, and so like there's been a little bit of a through line, and Palpatine definitely will take a long time to work on projects. So I don't know. I just want to see. I want to see more, and I want them to utilize characters like what's his name, Elric, Alden
Ehrenreich.
Ehrenreich. Well, I don't know why I say Elric. Alden. Like they used him in Solo. They had Kira, like before they end up kind of like, using Luke, Leia, and Han. Like, well, you can't really use them now. Back here, like use these characters.
Trust me, I would love that. But it seems to me like Disney took the wrong lesson at the failure of Solo. It wasn't their piss poor marketing. It was it's just
no one wants that.
No one wants that. Apparently, it's like. Okay. I love Solo.
Yeah. When I
Make
rewatched
Solo
it,
2 happen.
When I rewatched it with the kids, like I was like, this is a fun movie.
It's a fun movie.
I like this movie a lot.
Me too.
And Alden has just a nice like charisma about him.
He really does.
So
I have a good feeling about this.
Yeah.
It's a very funny movie. Beckett. Woody Harrelson is so funny in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move on. Irish Nexus has a question.
Irish.
He says, with the Bad Batch being a story about all of clone kind, and with Daniel Logan doing the clone recently, do you think we get Boba in season 3?
I think it's only natural, honestly.
Dude, you need Boba and Omega to meet. That'd be so cool.
That's what I think is natural.
I guess, yeah, you're right, right?
I mean, of the clones of Jango, they're pretty, they're pretty close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
yeah, definitely. I would want to see Boba.
I would love that. I'd love him to be with the Bad Batch for a little bit.
You think he has like a closer set of armor to the Boba we know in the original trilogy?
I don't know. Would it still be?
I mean, he would have the helmet notch from Cad Bane.
Yeah.
At that point, right?
I mean, yeah, he should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess so. He'd be roughly Omega's age, right?
He'd be exactly Omega's age.
Because were they both at the exact same time?
The exact same time, and they age at the exact same rate.
So he's not going to be much bigger. The armor might be too big, maybe. I don't know. But it'd be cool to see maybe kind of like a version of that while he's still... I mean, I'd love to see him come back in with his... whatever the ship's called now.
It's a Slave One. Boba Fett's ship.
Yeah.
The fire spray, as they called it in Book of Boba. It's a fire spray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to see him come in with that and,
yeah.
I don't know, work something with the clones.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe him and Omega have to go on an adventure together. That'd be cool.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Maybe if the Bad Batch don't make it, that's where she...
Oh, man.
I don't know.
I
mean, that's her brother, too.
They all get stuck in the vault. I don't know. But no, I'd love to see Boba. I think that'd be great. And having Daniel Logan already being a voice, like, why not? Why not have him still want them to use him more. That's another one that I
Yeah.
think that they should use in between episodes 3 and 4 is having Daniel Logan in there and
Yeah.
having Alden in there and Lando. Like, there's that whole like idea of a scum and villainy kind of trilogy, right?
Yeah.
There's Darth Maul. Like, Ray Park isn't getting younger, you know? Like,
No, he's not.
use that man. Get him and Sam Witwer doing some stuff. I want to see more of that story. Like, where were they going with it? And let's capitalize on some of that before it's too late and people are too old to really reprise that same role.
True. I know there's some comic stuff that gets close to what we're talking about there, but we'll get to that eventually.
Yeah. You can always do animation with it too.
Yeah,
but
you definitely could.
I still
Which,
love
I mean, why not do more animation? Do you see how beautiful it is? It's
Bad
so
Batch
amazing.
looks really good.
One thing I wanted to say real quick before I move on. Remember, Daniel Logan did one clone, but someone else did the other 2 clones?
Man, you always talk about this guy.
This guy?
Right? Are you talking about? Oh no, you mean in Bad Batch?
Yeah.
I thought you were bringing up the
No.
second guy that was the clones from episode 2.
No, I'm talking about the voice actor that played the other 2 clones is the kid from Deadpool, the Firestarter kid. That's who played him.
With the prison pocket?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
him.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either, but he played the other 2 clones.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It's another thing too. Is I
fact.
wonder why they did that and didn't have Daniel do all 3. Because
I don't know the answer to that question. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, well, you know, Daniel's not necessarily the most seasoned actor, so maybe they don't have him do a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know.
maybe, but
He did all of the clones in a couple arcs of the Clone Wars, and there was a criticism of, like, man, he doesn't do what
D does.
D does in terms of, like, you know, so I don't know.
I don't know either. I guess. But then why have him be any of them?
Because
Okay. Now that we've
You
solved
dummy.
that,
that's an easy answer. That's exactly what Dave Filoni said. Because.
Yeah. We have guys. Don't forget, if you want to do anything over on the Twitch side, you can use your channel points in the bottom corner because we have more on YouTube than we do Twitch. So don't forget that you can do the Twitch side of things too. We have Carl Kraus who says, "Do you think Emery would want to help the Bad Batch behind Hemlock's back?" Emery is such a question for me.
Yeah.
Because of also being like, I'm your sister kind of thing, right? Like, I want to know what her story is, where she came from.
Do you think Emery has a chip? Like, Omega doesn't have a chip.
Sure.
Boba doesn't have a chip. Does Emery have a chip?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Because for whatever she was made for was different. And the chip side of things was made so that we could turn these soldiers against their commanders.
Yeah.
Which isn't what we would need for, like, Omega or Emery or something like that, right?
I wouldn't think so, but I just don't know. I mean, the chip didn't factor in until, like, one moment, really, you know? And that moment's passed.
Yeah. I mean, it also caused some problems in Clone Wars during
It
that
does.
one arc.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think no.
Okay.
But I also am curious on, you know, we know where and not necessarily why, but like kind of why Omega is around, right? That has to do with Nala Se, right?
Yeah.
Why is Emery around? Is that still also because of Nala Se? And was there other things she was working on?
Yeah.
Or is it because of Hemlock? Was Hemlock doing it and made these clones? Or like what's her origin and why is she... You know what I mean?
I mean, the only thing I can think of is just, well, you do that so that you don't have to bring outsiders in.
Sure.
But they already do because most of the stormtroopers are outsiders.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Outside. You know what I mean.
Sure.
So I don't know. A big question mark with Emery. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. We have a lot of episodes this season. There's still like 20-some episodes in there.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, it's still a
Dang.
lot.
I was so worried it was going to be like 12.
Yeah, I saw some people like complaining about the pace. Oh, everything's going so quick. They're already back with them. We got so many episodes to go through. I'm like, isn't that exciting? I don't know. I'm excited by having all that real estate to do
Yeah,
more
because
stuff.
I feel like we have a lot of story that we need to
Yeah.
tell in this last season. So
Yeah.
good.
So yeah, Emery's a big question mark. Even my speculation's not really.
I feel like
anything.
Emery was willing to help Omega and has some feelings towards her and wanting to help her, but
She wants her to help,
but
within
it wasn't
the
enough.
rules.
It wasn't enough to let her escape.
Yeah.
But she was willing to give her back her doll,
Yeah,
right? So
Yeah.
maybe, I think so. I just don't know in what ways, and it might be a thing where she needs to be pushed further by Hemlock in some way or form, right? Where was it her who was like, but they'll kill them? It's like, they should have thought of that, you know, like
Should've thought of that. Yeah,
like it seemed like a point where like that feels too far.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So I think Emery, if things get too far for her, she will stop it and try to change it.
And might not survive.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's the case with like everybody, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much anyone is a clone.
Yeah, definitely.
How about Bailey Silver? Hey boys, I've got a question I've always thought about. Why is Maul? We're not talking about Maul on this. This is Bad Batch Bailey.
Okay, just make it a.
You want to talk about
answer as
just
quick
because
as
you want
possible.
to talk about Maul, Eric.
As quick as I can, I'll answer.
Why
Go.
is Maul the only red Knight brother? All the others are yellow or dark yellow.
There's like slightly orange as well. Maybe
there is orange.
Maybe that's why Townsend selected him. He's like, I like the red one. No, I don't know. You don't want characters that look that way to just feel like copies, even though a lot of people like were saying that at the time when those episodes were coming out. It's like, just a bunch of Mauls, you know? I mean, that's what Savage Press is. He's a replacement for something people liked, and then George is like, just bring back Maul. Like, what? Well, we already set up Savage. Like, have them both. All right, you know? Yeah, I guess that's the answer.
All right.
But
yeah, I think there's more colors than just yellow. There's definitely an orange, there's darker yellows, but I don't know why he's the only red.
Is Maul normally all red without tattoos, or is he normally a different color and those are all tattoos?
Maybe he's so angry he turned red.
Maybe. That happens to me. Also, any other emotion.
It's true. Warden, I like this one. Do you think that Scorch has a bigger role in Bad Batch or in future projects? He has a long history.
He does. Definitely. The squad.
So far, I've really disliked him.
Well, he isn't. I mean, he's just following orders, man.
I guess so, sure.
Do I hope? Is that what the question was?
Do you think that Scorch will have a bigger...
I don't know about think. In terms of hope, my hope is yes. That way we can finally maybe get a Republic Commando 2.
I think
have Delta Squad have finished their story.
Yeah. I mean, even just getting a Republic Commando, like if it works within the canon. Like, is there anything about Republic Commando that wouldn't work within? Because I've never played the first one.
Not necessarily. I mean, some of it is. It's kind of like when you're looking at, like Force Unleashed, right? It's not canon, but if it was, we would have to really funnel in our brains about how powerful Galen, or not Galen,
Merrick?
Yeah. Is it Galen?
Galen Merrick?
Is it Galen Merrick?
Sounds right.
Starkiller, how powerful he actually is in a canon versus a video game that's designed to just make you feel powerful, right? So there are certain things in Republic Commando that's like, well, the Geonosians don't quite look like that, you know? Or at least certain versions of them. So you'd have to like massage a little bit, but not as much as something like Force Unleashed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his inclusion I think is cool for like fan service sake, right? Because you could just have like someone there, but the fact that it's Scorch, like, oh, that's cool because I remember him from this game.
Yeah.
But he also showed up a little bit in Clone Wars, right? There was that one moment for the I think it was for the Jedi, wasn't it? Is that what it was? It was like a funeral. It was someone who had died. I want to say it was a dead Jedi, but I
think so.
Can't remember in this moment.
Yeah. I'm not remembering either.
In that segment there, like it'd be cool to just have more story with them within the canon of everything.
Yeah.
Little Root says, remember the Zepho type thing from last season?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that will come back in any way, shape, or form?
I don't think so. I think, and honestly, I think it's better if that is just a mystery of the galaxy that some of us think we have an answer, but many people are like, what was that? And I think the most satisfying answer is, I don't know.
Sure. Like right now, there's a mystery in the galaxy of why is the father, why is there a statue on that planet?
Yeah.
Why is that there?
Why is it there?
And what's it pointing at?
That's so exciting.
You know?
Yeah.
I want to know what that is. And hopefully we find out.
The Witches of Dathomir are galactic interlopers. Like, that's cool. You know? There's a lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah. So it's fun to have little mysteries and stuff, which apparently there's like 100 wonders in the galaxy.
Yeah, apparently.
RSR says, who's your favorite Bad Batch? Who's your favorite of the Bad Batch?
I can't say Gonky.
What? I think someone would be a little jealous.
It's hard to answer. I mean, I really like Wrecker. Obviously, mean, he's a funny character, but I like whenever they can play with his fear of heights and how he can be adorable and destructive at the same time.
Sure.
But man, I don't know. I can't. I don't
It's hard,
know.
right?
It's really hard now.
They've done so well with all of them.
Crosshair's so good.
Crosshair is probably one of my favorites because just the one, I love that they used him for kind of showing the Imperial side of everything going on, which I thought was great. But also he feels so much more complicated now after last season. Whereas before I'm like, oh, they're just going to use him on this side. But he's seeing all the bad stuff going on, and he's like, I want to change and get out of this. And I like that a lot. I also have enjoyed what they've done with Tech.
Yeah. Especially last season.
Except for the very end.
Well, yeah. But like even the stuff they were doing to develop him more in that season. Oh, so good. So good.
Him with, what's the one girl? The Wanda?
Yeah. Why am I blanking on her name right now, Aaron? I had it written down in my notes because I knew I'd forget it. I don't have my notes.
I could go through and find it, I guess, but
no.
we haven't found her. We haven't seen her at all this season yet. But Fee, I think
it's
Nexus.
Fee, thank you, Nexus.
But like that stuff has been really good. Hunter, I don't think has had in Wrecker as much development. I don't think they've done. Wrecker's been fairly, I feel like, consistent. Like he's like a big brother to Omega. You know what I mean?
He is. He really gets to have feel the feelings of the Bad Batch as a whole. I feel like he gets angry on behalf of everybody. He gets sad on behalf of everybody. He's like their emotional signal. I feel like Hunter. I feel like he's had the least amount of development, but also because he's in a leader's situation, he also has the most responsibility. So it's hard for him to change as much as the others.
Yeah, he has to stay in that leader role and consistent and stuff, and it's tough.
I mean, that's his job, is to be consistent.
Yeah.
So it is a little tough, but he doesn't get a whole lot of, I don't know, but maybe that's something that will change this season. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. But I think the one, too, that I like the most, who's had the most development, because we had no idea who they were, is Omega.
Yeah.
I've really liked what they've done with Omega. I've loved her this season.
Yeah.
I loved Crosshair and her, escaping together.
That was so good.
And, them, we talked about during the thing, but, yeah, them both having worked with the Bad Batch, but never really working together, still worked like a team, and it was, flawless. You know what I mean? And that was great. And, Crosshair just listening to Omega, even though he barely has any connection to her as much as the Bad Batch. The rest of them do,
Yeah, definitely.
So I think Omega is probably my favorite of the group, but Tech and Crosshair have really grown a lot and done a lot more. I miss Echo.
Me too.
I liked him being on the team.
Yeah.
So I hope we get more of him in this season again.
I think we will,
especially since we have an idea of where Rex goes, but we don't know where Echo goes.
We don't know where any of the Batch go.
They brought Echo back, and I want to see him more and get more of an idea of him. So, that might be a good one to end on for talking about Bad Batch, because we still have the book and Survivor to talk to, and it's already been about 45 minutes. So
we have a lot of things to get into.
We might
have a lot of time to waste.
Yeah, so that might be it, guys, for questions on Bad Batch.
And we're only 4 episodes in, so
we'll probably get to talk about it again here next
do it next
month.
month. Yeah.